With a little bit of confidence coming back into the market, is now the right time to be buying that dip? Guys, in this video, we're going to dive down into Bitcoin, into a few altcoins, see exactly what is going on and see whether or not now is the right time for this opportunity. As we get into it, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. Really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all that said, done, and out of the way, let's take a look at a few charts. Okay, guys, so we're going to start things off with Bitcoin here on this hourly view. So obviously, as we've been tracking, we had the ABC. That's come in now. We can see the ABC here. And usually, you know, from this ABC being completed, we can see that we haven't really overextended our C wave. So we're just going to quickly measure that out, make sure that we're still on track with our expectations. So basically, our C wave here should be the same as our A wave. This is the usual kind of way that it tracks. Sometimes it overextends, sometimes it goes a little bit shorter, right? And here you can see that we just overextended past the 1-for-1 ratio. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put the C just on that top peak there. Okay, if it went above 1.382, then this would have been a 1 through 5 scenario, but we haven't actually seen it go past that area. Now we are overbought, so if we do go past $52,000, then I would be very tempted to basically go ahead and change this into a 1, 2, 3, and hopefully that 4 would find a nice support level and then go into 5. Okay, so there are a few rules that we have to follow with the impulsive waves, so we'll check that if that were to come. So right now, obviously being overbought on this stochastic RSI, and obviously completing the C wave here, we're tracking to see whether or not we're going to go impulsive or not. If not, then, you know, what happens next will basically be an A, B, and C down, okay? And therefore buying at the top right now if you were to buy the dip of this particular micro movement. Now, I don't generally do too much kind of trading activity on the smaller time frames. I think it's important that we understand that actually long-term is a much better strategy, right? Buy in the bear market, hold it for a duration of time, and have good strategy about how you go ahead and do these things. I'm not a trader, I'm not a day trader or anything like that, and I do not like kind of, you know, getting in and out of the markets here. And that's not because it doesn't work. There's lots of strategies that you can do to kind of get in and out of the markets on the shorter time frames. It's more that I do not have the time to constantly monitor every single coin that I'm invested in that frequently, right? So for me, I like to kind of get in you know, during a bear market, hodl it, dollar cost average it, dollar cost average my way out of it, and we're done. Okay, it keeps things simple for me and it allows my portfolio to be very diverse. Obviously, the ABC move here, if it doesn't turn impulsive, then in fact, even if it does turn impulsive, I probably wouldn't be buying this opportunity. I would be waiting for that pullback, okay, and then buy the next one, okay, because if you have an ABC down like this, that would be followed by an ABC up as well. Okay, as we said previously, we are expecting, you know, things to kind of steadily get that reversal, but nothing moves up in straight lines. Everything will bounce. Now, what we're waiting for at the moment is to wipe out the stochastic RSI, get the momentum taken out, bring that down a little bit, get the correction in, and then continue the growth. Now, this yellow line that we had across here for Bitcoin at 49,694 approximately, this should be the support level. So what we're expecting would be a very small kind of A, B, and C to find that support level there. What we're hoping that doesn't happen is that that is just your A wave with a B wave up and a C wave down. It's also possible, but you know, you can lose some confidence in the market if you do see Bitcoin pull back that way. Okay, so we're open to the idea that there's many different things that are going on. Obviously, I think this is probably the most probable outcome. You know, we have these A, B, and C movements. Okay, and we have these kind of mapped inside larger moves. So I wouldn't be too surprised if actually we are tracking a bigger ABC down. Okay, so we'll watch that one, monitor that situation. I don't think that volatility is out of the market yet. So we are expecting that kind of pullback. Okay, now, of course, we can go impulsive first before we get this pullback, which means this ABC could be much higher. It really depends on what happens next here. Okay, so that's for Bitcoin, right? So it's good to understand what's going on. But this recent ABC push to the upside, this bounce to the upside, has brought some confidence in the market. We can see that there's a flurry of green inside the cryptocurrencies within our portfolio, right? We have Ethereum at 9%, we've got Solana at 9%, we've got Cardano at 11%, we've got 20% for AVAX, can't talk about Crow. We've got Stellar at 12%. We've got VChain at 13%. Elrond at 10%, 12% for 𝗕𝗃𝗪𝗂, 16% for Harmony, right? And there's a few double digits here. 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗓 22%, 𝗕𝗫𝗀𝗃 27%. Now, but it's also important to acknowledge that, yes, within the last 24 hours, we have some confidence coming in the market. There's a lot of red in the last 7 days, okay, with the exception of 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗓 that's now in 4.2 for the last 7 days, and Algorand at 1.8, Solana at 0.2. The most part, we are still in a whole world of hurt, right, for these altcoins. So obviously we acknowledge that the recovery is coming, but doesn't necessarily mean that it's here yet. So when we actually take a look at things like Cardano, if we actually take a look at Cardano on the kind of larger time frame, we can obviously talk about the potential for a diversion of trend, and this could be potentially starting a whole new trend in itself, right? This is the weekly chart. We're oversold on our weekly stochastic RSI. We can also see here, that we've basically completed a weekly A, B, and C move. We can measure the distance on these as well, so we can get that kind of understanding as to whether or not we've come to the bottom of our C wave correction. You can see that we're potentially a little bit higher than our 1-for-1 ratio, but this is also relatively okay. So we'll monitor to see whether or not that is the bottom of our C wave, or whether or not we're going to come down a little bit lower. But this deviation, this big ABC, it is potentially a shift in trend, right? We were tracking very, very nicely. Wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and the beginning of 5. Now, we could argue that 5 was just a very, very short wave, right? Not even really going to the 1.618, which is, very frustrating. You would expect that would be your kind of least kind of scenario right there. And then you'd have the pullback. So this diversion could actually lead to an impulsive move next year once we start to see projects launch on this ecosystem that could potentially take it much higher. I've spoken about this previously. So again, right now for the longer term time frame, Cardano is looking interesting. On the shorter time frames, there's a lot of things we have to be kind of thinking about. Okay, one is this big pullback here. Now, we know that there's this huge impulsive move down. Okay, this we're thinking is our C wave. Okay, and then basically, as we can see, this is a much larger play of an A, B, and C. Okay, a very, very big A, B, C. Let me just actually remove that one because we got it there twice. Okay, so A, B, and C, big moves. In theory, this still hasn't played out. We know this because we've also drawn on the fib. Let me remove one of them. I've drawn it on twice. And we can see down here. Now, one of the things that's really important to understand about Cardano's ADA here, let me just actually go into a slightly larger time frame, is this supporting trend line to the upside. Now, this is actually going way back through to, pretty much early 2021, February way. We had it tested in April. We had it tested again in July, and recently it's been tested again in November, right? November or December? I think it is December. Yeah. So it's important that we acknowledge that although this ABC move has actually come down, it could have come down lower, it found good support on this supporting trend line to the upside. So that's a good positive and a bounce from here. Now we're trying to see if we are going to get this reversal, this big ABC move. Now this big ABC move is something that's going to play out over time, in my opinion. This is setting a new trend. Whether this turns impulsive or not, we'll have to see in the future. But for now, we could potentially be on the cusp of an interesting move to the upside. But we find resistance at the 618 on the bigger time frames, pull back down to the good support level of 183, and then it'll get that next kind of move to the upside overall. So hopefully this ABC is over and we'll look to track another ABC up, basically creating a V bottom, if you will, over time. So Cardano is an interesting one. On the real small time frames, there's a lot of things that we should potentially be concerned about. I'm invested in ADA, I'm still invested in ADA, we still run the pool in ADA. None of that's changing. We're not selling any Cardano and all that kind of stuff. But we should acknowledge that this is interesting, this particular move down here, right? So we're tracking up like Bitcoin. We had the ABC move. We can see this here. We can actually take it from our low point and run it up, run it down, run it up. Now, we can obviously see that we are pulling back even though the price is pushing up, right? So we're wiping out the stochastic RSI, losing momentum. So we're finding the upper resistance at $1.48. And if we measure the distance here of wave A, grab that, pull that down, throw this onto wave B, you can see that we came quite short, right? We found the upper resistance and we're not able to push through. We should have gone to about $1.51 on a 1-for-1 ratio of A to C, and that hasn't happened. But, you know, again, sometimes we don't hit it, sometimes we fall short, sometimes we fall just above, overextending on it, right? But always around in and around this area. Right now, we can actually see and confirm that it's the 786 area that we're really finding the upper resistance on. We're trying to push above it, but we also have upper resistance as well. So we might have a little bit more of a push with this C wave, but then we should expect an ABC down at that point. It's nothing here looking impulsive. Unless Bitcoin goes impulsive and takes many of these altcoins with it, I do anticipate an ABC move down for Cardano. Therefore, right now might not be a good opportunity to dollar cost average a good position with ADA, but actually waiting for that pullback to occur and then getting in. We're looking to lower the stochastic into oversold area during wave A, push up with wave B, and then a pullback with wave C. Wave C would be my entry point. Okay, and then we'll be tracking an ABC up. So overall, you know, Cardano is an interesting one with, you know, pretty much following Bitcoin's path here. Most of these altcoins are. They're kind of following Bitcoin's kind of direction, and we can see the ABC coming in, and then we're looking for that pullback. VChain's doing some really interesting things. If I actually take a look at this on the daily, we can see that VChain is potentially forming out with an Elliott wave triangle, okay? And basically you have this A wave, a B, C, D, and an E, right? So we're trying to push up to D. This is something that's going to take some time, and then pull back with an E wave before we get that kind of real big push to the upside. So this is really cool. It's good to see this one play out. This is something that we've seen with HarmonyOne on the smaller time frame, so we can see something very similar on the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 chart as well for this, although I think the recent pullback may have actually invalidated that one. But it's holding incredibly well here for VChain. So right now we are looking to push up with a D wave. Again, won't move up in straight lines. It'll be a big macro picture. Thinking that we're on a daily chart here, guys. So we're not really paying too much attention to the smaller kind of time frames or the smaller movements. But we will be looking for an A, B, and C inside of this D wave. Okay, so we'll be pushing up inside of here on the smaller time frames. There's going to be obviously, you know, A, B, and C moves as well. So do be, you know, cautious with that. I'm jumping around different time frames. It's important that we understand where we are and how long these things are going to play out. I think this is going to be way into 2022 before we actually complete this E wave and then that push to the upside. So do expect to push up with VChain. Do expect a big pull back with VChain and then a good push up, right? And if we actually take a look at the entry point, if we're thinking longer term, actually this isn't too bad of a position because E wave coming back down is going to put you right back into the same spot. So you either have a couple of options. You either get in earlier or later, and depending on where your capital is best used. Now, obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. Chris isn't a financial advisor. I'm not offering you financial advice. Just what I would do. I would either be buying here or down here with wave E. Either of these two are not too bad options in my opinion if we are late to the game. Now obviously with VChain, as we are so open and honest on this channel, you know, we are buying it way down here, right? Way down here in the bear market, right? That's where you buy it. Now, in fact, you know, I wouldn't say that we're necessarily buying it in the bear market. We're buying it after the crash of March 2022. Like the bear market's already over here, but this is a true bottom. We're buying up wave 1 on this wave riding up into August of 2020. This is pretty much where we did most of our buying right here. Okay, this is where we did most of it. We did a little bit around here, but not too much. We pretty much saved everything in this zone. Okay, so it's really easy for me to say, you know, and stay calm because we got in so early. That's the power of the bear market, right? We want the bear market to come because we want to build those positions. This is looking really interesting for a big push. It would be like a big blast at the last moment for VChain. So that's looking pretty good, right? So I want to kind of cover that off. Larger time frame, daily chart, big impulsive moves, looking to get to about $1.01 on the daily. But if we actually take a look at the trend-based fib, that goes out to 120. Okay, so this is actually looking like a really good play. So do expect some volatility here. Push up, pull back, blast off, right? So VChain's looking very, very good. Very nice to see that kind of play out. That'll be good. Okay, and you know, buying down here, I won't be buying obviously because my bags were packed way down at this point. We did actually try to get to 1 million. VET on this journey in wave 3, but we kind of abandoned that. We've got a pretty good position. Or at least I've got a pretty good position. I didn't quite get to the 1 million that I wanted to get. I know Chris has got significantly more than me. People way more down here. So I could, if I wanted to, get in, but I think my my capital is probably going to be better utilized elsewhere. Okay, so we are talking about potentially like a 10x on this coin at this point for VChain. So the next one is obviously HarmonyOne. HarmonyOne's got a lot of things that have been going on. It's done incredibly well. It's had the pullback, right? Again, we are tracking on this daily chart here the impulsive moves back to the upside, right? And we had the cup and handle complete at 38 cents and the pullbacks that kind of followed. Now on the smaller time frames, here's that triangle that formed on HarmonyOne, right? We had the triangle A through E and then impulsive move up, completing that move. That's what we're tracking, but on VChain's daily, right? So you can see the potential in that one. And now here we obviously see that we're pulling back. We can see pretty much in line with everything else that's been going on in the space. We have the bigger A, B, and C move, and then inside here we also have, you can either label this up as yeah, I'd say this is an ABC, but that C is really extended, right? So what we want to do is we want to take a look. Say, here's your A wave, here's your B wave. What is that C wave actually doing? So we want to grab hold of our A wave here. We're going to grab this. We're going to throw this down on top of our B wave. In fact, I'm going to have to draw it the other way around because we want to check to see whether this went impulsive to the downside. So we're going to grab that. We're going to push this here. And we can see that we just fell short. Okay, so basically what we look for is this 1.382. If we go above 1.382, most of the time after that, we actually turn the ABC move into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulsive move down. Okay, so that's actually interesting. We can see the good push to the upside. Now, here we actually have an ABC down, and we're still tracking. This is actually looking like a potential move of an ABC down at this point. Okay, so unlike some of these other projects that we've actually been seeing with quite large ABCs up, like Bitcoin, for example, what we've seen here is almost the opposite. We actually saw HarmonyOne with an A, B looking for the C. Okay, so we're expecting that pullback with HarmonyOne. Not the best of news, I can appreciate. So we're watching that space there quite closely. And the reason that we say that is if we actually come across here, you can see that we had this A, B, C here. Okay, we pulled back, and where other altcoins actually had this is a big A wave, and then a B wave came in and got the reversal, we haven't seen that reversal with HarmonyOne. Instead, we continued the downtrend, and then we moved up a little bit, basically this making this an A wave and that a B wave. So now we're tracking for a C. Okay, so we are looking for more downward trend on HarmonyOne. Therefore, right now might not be the best opportunity to buy in, and we might want to wait to lower that stochastic RSI down into the lower areas. So overall, the markets are interesting. I'm not going to go through all of the altcoins. There's so many of them, obviously. I do want to just kind of highlight a couple that actually most of them are tracking very similarly. We are obviously looking for a pullback to occur, an ABC move. And again, that might be the opportunity to get in on the next wave to the upside. So guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found it useful and informative, hit the like button. Really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.